Section 10.2 is where we're going to be simplifying radicals. We were going to be breaking up this lesson into several parts because there are several pieces that go into simplifying radicals. So the first thing is knowing what a radical is. So a radical is just a square root sign. So what we're going to do is you have to break it up so that if you have any perfect squares are like 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, etc. So we want to take those outside of the radical. That's what simplifying it means. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a factor tree. So here is the square root of 160. You're going to factor it out, so break it down as far as it will go. So having a little bit of number sense here, if I know this is even, I know it's divisible by 2. So the first thing I did was just divide it by 2. So I broke it up as 2 and 80. 80 is still even, so I broke it up again and I did 2 and 40. 40 is still even, so I did 2 and 20. 20 can still be broken up, so I did 2 and 10. 10 can be broken up, so it's 2 and 5. Now, one suggestion I would make is every time you break it up, you may want to cross it off as you go. That way you don't look at those numbers anymore and you only look at the end results. Okay? So once you have it completely broken up, you are going to circle all of the pairs of numbers that they have in common. So like I have a pair of 2s, so I'm going to circle it. I have a pair of 2s here, so I'm going to circle it. And then I have no more pairs, so I'm not going to circle any of those. You're going to pull one number from that pair. So if I make a pair, only one comes out. When I make a pair, only one comes out. So then what happens is the numbers that you pulled out of your pair are going to be wrote first. So I wrote 2 times 2. And the numbers that are not circled are going to be left inside the radical. So I have 2 and 5, so I wrote them underneath a radical sign with a times sign in between. So what you want to do, once you have figured out what numbers come outside the radical, what numbers stay inside, you just need to times your like terms. So like terms in this case would be things that are on the outside, things that are on the inside. So these two would times to 4, these two would times to 10. So if I were to simplify square root of 160, my answer would be 4 square root of 10. So a couple steps. Make a factor tree, so make sure you break it all the way down. Circle your pairs and pull one number from each of those pairs. The numbers that you pull from the pairs are going to go in front. The numbers that are not circled are the ones that you would put underneath the radical. Then just simplify. Alright, let's see if you can do one on your own. So, square root of 72. Now there are lots of different ways to break it up, so keep in mind that my factor tree might be different than yours, which is okay. So I broke it up as 2 and 36. 36 can be broke off, so I crossed it off and I broke it up as 2 and 18. 18 can be broke up, so I crossed it off and I made it 2 and 9. 9 can be broken up, so I made it 3 and 3. Then I went through and I circled my pairs. So I had this pair of 2s and this pair of 3s. So that means that a 2 came out of this pair and a 3 came out of that pair. So 2 and 3 go in front. The number that's not circled is 2, so it goes underneath my radical sign. So then I simplify. I times these two numbers, so I get 6. Nothing to times there, so I get 6 square roots of 2 as my answer. Okay, so the other piece after we simplify is what's it look like if they put a number in front? Well, you're going to ignore that number in front for the time being and simplify the square root of 117 just like you did previously. So that's what I did first. I broke up 117. So I found that 3 went in there, so I broke it up as 3 and 39. 39 can be broke up as 3 and 13, and then 13 is prime, so it can't go any further. So then I circled my pairs. So I had a pair of 3s, so a 3 comes out, and then there was nothing else. So to simplify, I had 3 on the outside, and then 13 was underneath my radical. Now, remember we still had that negative 4 out in front. So what we did is we broke up the 117 and got this answer. And now what we're going to do is just put that -4 back in play and times it with its like term. So these numbers that don't have radicals out in front here, you would just times together. So you would get -12 square root of 13. All right, you try one now. So see if you can simplify 5 square root of 700. So I broke up 700. I did 7 and 100. Then I did 10 and 10. Then I broke up each of those 10s and I got 2, 5, 2, 5. So now I circled my pair. So this was a little hard because they were in different branches. So I had a pair of 2s here and I had a pair of 5s here. Now don't forget about leaving this branch up here. So you should have a 2 and a 5 out in front, and then you should have the 7 underneath the radical sign. So remember, now is where we're going to put that 5 back in play. So now I'm going to times, so I could times these two and get 10, and then times the 10 and 5 and get 50, and the square root of 7 just stays the same because there's nothing to times with it. So the big ideas today are, you're going to make a factor tree, so make sure you break it down all the way down until it can't be broke down any further. Then you're going to multiply like terms once you have it set up in their right spots. Then you want to make sure that you are simplifying and timesing the like terms together. All right, that's it for simplifying radicals for part 1.